You know something interesting about this? What's interesting is what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, I, Paul, the prisoner of Rome. Paul never thought of himself as a prisoner of Rome. He always thought of himself as a prisoner of Jesus Christ. Rome couldn't lay a hand on him. He was a prisoner who belonged to Jesus Christ. He was one who wasn't Caesar's captive, he was Christ's captive. Beloved, let me hasten to add a thought here. Perspective is everything in life. It's how you view it that matters, the point of view. When something comes into your life, how you view it is the issue. Like somebody has well said, it isn't the circumstance, it's how you react to it. That's true. The Apostle Paul is a prisoner. But instead of being melancholy, instead of being disheartened, instead of being discouraged, he just said, I am a prisoner of Jesus Christ. This is just another step in my service to Jesus Christ. He was the initiator of the jail ministries. He knew Christ wanted him there. He took it as that from Christ. Listen, he had served Christ with a clear conscience. He had preached the mystery that God had given him to preach. He couldn't do a thing about the reaction. If he was a prisoner, then he was a prisoner because he'd been faithful to Christ. Therefore, Christ had him there. He was a prisoner of Jesus Christ, not of Rome. And by the way, if Christ didn't want him there, Rome couldn't have held him. Perspective. That's why you should count it all joy when you fall into diverse trials. The trying of your faith worketh patience, and patience will have a perfect work. That's why you should count it a joy when you're persecuted, because when you're persecuted for righteousness' sake, the grace and glory of God rests on you. He says, hey, it's my point of view. Being a prisoner is great. You know what's happened in Philippians 1? He says, since I've been a prisoner, it's wonderful. Everybody's gotten more bold because they realize that even if you become a prisoner, you can still preach to all the people around the prison. And since I've been a prisoner, he says, I've been leading Caesar's household to Christ. You know, since he was a prisoner, it made everybody more bold, Philippians 1 says. And he said, it's all for you Gentiles. What a man. It's all for you. He said, if I be offered on the sacrifice of your faith, I rejoice, Philippians 2. Colossians 1, he says, look, he says, I fill up in my body the afflictions of Christ for you. In 2 Corinthians, he says, I bear in my body every day the dying of Jesus Christ for you. I mean, I go through all this stuff for you, Gentiles, to get the gospel to you, to get you saved, and it's all right because it's what Christ wants me to do, and I'm his prisoner. These are not the chains of Rome. These are the chains of Christ. There's only one way to look at the ministry, beloved. That's it. Only one way to look at it. The Apostle Paul saw himself as a prisoner of Christ. He didn't do anything to deserve the ministry. He didn't get himself into this thing. God got him into it, and what happened to him because of Christ. You know, in my own life, not to the degree that Paul knew it, but to a lesser degree, there are things that come into my life that are causes of grief and sadness and pain, anxiety, disappointment, discouragement, heartache, some suffering. And you know, you can get all woeful, oh, woe is me. See, you can sort of slink into the corner and make everybody feel real sorry for you. Try to intimidate people into sympathy. Or you can just say, well, I'm the servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. If I'm free, I'm free. And if I'm a prisoner, I'm a prisoner. If there's goodness and grace and wonder and happiness and joy, that's good. And if there's sorrow and sadness and disappointment and mistreatment and all of that, that's okay too, because I'm his prisoner and these are his chains, and wherever they are, that's okay because that's the place he put me. That's the only way to look at the ministry. It's all in your point of view. It's all in your point of view. Paul says, I'm not the prisoner of Rome. I'm the prisoner of Jesus Christ.